Dom, you've dragged me all the way to Stoke today to come and look at what is, I can only describe, I mean, it's a real success for Matsuura, but an even bigger success, you could say, for the company Olympus Engineering. Tell us about what they've done here with you over the last couple of years.
Well, as I say, hello, nice to see you again. What have they done? Well, they've been very busy in obviously buying some blue machines, and my friend Will Mitchell, who obviously you'll be speaking to a little bit later, contacted us a few years ago about how can they improve their productivity, flexibility and capability within a multi-pallet situation. I mean, you'll see when we walk around, they actually have multi-pallet machines, an old FMS, and a lot of twin pallet machines. But they didn't have the flexibility to switch and change as quickly as their customers were demanding.
Why did they need that? What was happening?
Well, what's happened with their, I think generally happening overall in our industry is that, you know, the demand on machining companies is that the volumes are there, but the volumes are there in smaller batches. So the need to switch from one component to another to get, I suppose, the same volume out, but with a variety of products, is ever increasing. And traditionally, Olympus would do long runs, you know, thousands off of one part, but now they're doing hundreds off, which means that to keep the utilization or get the OEE up of the machine, they needed a very quick, flexible system, i.e. the H.Plus-405 behind me, with a multi-pallet system and obviously a lot of tools, so that they can switch from one job to the other instantly.
Now, what is interesting about this story is we go to a lot of companies, Dom, where they might implement your automation solutions or others, and it's their first step into automation. But that isn't the case here at all. Walking around this company, this factory, they've already got the majority of their machines working in association with automation. But they had some problems with that, didn't they? Which this has now solved.
Yeah, so like I was explaining, because the volumes that they were calling off historically, they could have a machine, and they've got a line in an FMS, but they've got a small number of tools. So what that meant was that to switch from one job to the other, they had to take the tools out. So the fact that it's on an FMS, it didn't run unmanned. So the changeover time to get the machine from one batch of one components to the other now hindered them. So obviously by buying our solution with lots more tools, and in essence more pallets per spindle, it's enabled them to leave jobs set, tools set, and they obviously make that job today, that job tomorrow, and the changeover is zero.
Because even Will mentioned to me, it's not necessarily about the cycle time, it's about the processing solution and success. It might take, and I'm not suggesting the machine's slow by any way, shape or form, but it might take 5 or 10% longer to run a part, but it's the fact that everything's working in harmony to ensure that spindle keeps going, which is what has impressed him so much about what you've supplied.
Yeah, what they've managed to capitalise on is the unmanned hours. I mean, if you look to our right, there's a whole line of twin pallet machines. So as well as having automated FMS, they've also got a line of twin pallet horizontals. And the problem with the horizontal twin pallet machine is that they were doing a small number of components per pallet, and the cycle times were relatively short. So it's very man dependent. So therefore, they couldn't capitalise on any unmanned running, and the machines would run depending on how quickly a man could reload the machines. So what they've managed to capitalise here is put, you know, the multi-pallet, multi-tool, probing, tool life, machine monitoring, tool ID. So they've basically created a whole new process in order to manufacture their product. Yes, like Will said in our meeting prior to this interview, they're taking a little bit longer, but their actual output is much higher. So the productivity is by far higher.
It was pretty stupid of me, because I should have known this, and I did actually, but how do they then go about monitoring whether what you've supplied or what they've implemented is working?
So as you know, we sell the RiMM software, which we sell with all our multi-pallet machines here in the UK. And it's on the machine. You'll see it when you obviously have a glance at the machine. So Will is absolutely on it. You know, he's looking at the utilisation, the uptime, and you know, and he's reporting 97, 98% OEE. You know, 24/7. That's you know, if the spindle's running, as you well know, yeah, if the spindle's not running, you're not earning. These spindles are running.
How long have you been trying to do this here? Because have you only been knocking on the door for the last couple of months or a year?
25 years, mate.
25 years. It's taken you that long?
Yeah.
But you did that because you knew that this type of business, running the types of parts that they do, really needed to go to the next level, something that, like you guys, can supply.
At the end of the day, yes, I'm the sales director at Matsuura, but I'm still running area. If you don't know your area and you don't know your customers, then you're not doing your job properly. But I always knew that if I could get in and have a meaningful technical discussion with somebody at Olympus and sell our wares of what it will return. So yes, we're not the cheapest, we all know that. But we're not that expensive. When you look at 96, 97, 98 spindle runtime utilisation on a 24/7 hourly basis, really? You can't afford that? I bet you can,
And everybody, or most manufacturers, are facing the similar problems that Will was facing with batches sizes being reduced, what customers want to keep on their shelves being less compared to what they want you to keep.
Absolutely.
And all of those things really, help you guys out, don't they?
I think, we've been promoting multi-pallet machines for a long time, but every customer's need is different. It's how we package our machine, software, whether it's tool ID, engineering support. Every customer's need is different, but the end game is the same, which is spindle, uptime and utilisation. So we're fortunate now that we've got a lot of experience, we've got a lot of tools in our kit bag, and we can adapt our solution to each customer's requirement. I mean, this was a challenge, to be honest, to get the first Matsuura in here, because they've got horizontal machines from many other machine tool suppliers from around the world. What made us different and unique was the way in which I could package our solution, convince Will that we were the vendor to go with, and for him to basically put his neck on the line and change from the current suppliers. Now that's fruited very well so far. We have 3 machines running 24/7 today. There's 2 more on order, and the future's looking good for Matsuura and Olympus Engineering. That's all I'll say.